I'll explain. I'll explain exactly what I mean by that title in detail, but first, you gotta take a look at this thing. Now I'd like to give a quick plug to Ken Watches, as they're the ones who let me get a hands-on with this piece and most of the new watches on the channel. So they're a watch dealer in Hong Kong. Do check them out at kenwatches.com if you want some really cool pieces. So let's get into why nobody is talking about the green Rolex, the Hulk. When I say nobody's talking about the Hulk, I'm not talking about that conversation you had with your friend yesterday, today, or perhaps last week. I'm talking about the general trends and happenings within the watch community as a whole. So here's a bit of context. The green money Rolex is no longer able to carry the tumultuously intense waves of hype and excitement any longer. So this is what happens when an iconic watch gets vastly overexposed and overcomplimented and saturated with blind praise and hype. Now, I can already see some of you getting ready to let slip the dogs of war in the comment section. Go ahead. Before you do that, just have a look at this skit. What's your favorite watch? I don't have a favorite. Why? What's yours? Hulk. It's gotta be the Hulk. Green money Rolex. Iconic. Yeah. What makes it your favorite? Dude, it's iconic. It's Rolex. It's the Submariner. How so? How's it iconic? I don't know. It's the green money Rolex. I mean, it's 20 grand. It's fire. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it's lit. Okay, so this idiot is why we don't have watches at retail. So to continue, when a watch undergoes massive blind praise and rise, it eventually peaks. I mean, how long do you expect to hear the same things over and over and not lose interest in said thing? It's just natural for that to happen. Now, some of you may argue that currently this watch is selling at its highest value ever. And so that should imply that the interest is absolutely there. The interest is as high as it gets. But here's why I think that's not the case. The belief of hype carries a lot more models within the watch market, certainly the Rolex watch market, than you'd expect. So it's not just about whether certain models are hyped, it's whether people believe that certain models should be hyped. Okay, all of that aside, I actually really like this watch. That may be a bit of a surprise to you because of all the negative things I just said about the hype and how it's not worthy of said hype. I actually love this piece for what it is, a watch. In hand, it's damn near perfect if you ask me. I love the squared off lugs, I love the super case, I like the shade of green, I like the use of ceramic. There's absolutely nothing that I dislike about this watch. I love the way this entire thing sits as, well, sort of a small tank or a monolith on the top of your wrist. I like that disconnect between the bracelet and the case as well, which a lot of people don't. And obviously with the new watch, the 126610, Rolex did change that a bit, and people do seem to like that as well. But that's not me. I prefer the 1166 generation. So there's literally nothing I would actually change about this watch. Now, a little bit about the use of green. I found the use of green to be absolutely fascinating on this watch. Back in 2010, I think this was one of the very few green watches you could get. Before this, Rolex had the Kermit, launched in 2003, 2004, and that was kind of their first use of green in a bezel, so it was not as, well, in your face as the Hulk is, because it's a green dial as well. And it's quite unusual. It's a rather unusual design choice to go for something all green. So the Submariner is a classic watch, and it's Rolex's possibly most iconic watch. And they knew that back in 2010 as well. So they had the regular sub, the 116610 LN, and they had this, the LV, the all green Rolex. This was a super smart, well, I'm not sure if it's a guess or it was just them predicting how the watch market would be in the future, because 10 years on, more than 10 years, 11 years on, we're still lusting after green dials and green in the watch industry. So green watches are massively sought after still today. And that's a massive testament of time, especially when it comes to this design choice with Rolex. 15 years ago, who the heck wore an all green watch? Nobody? So let's get back to why I think nobody's talking about the Hulk. Here's my reasoning. There are 4 reasons. 1. People have simply spent too much time talking about it. It's been going on for too long. This piece was launched in 2010. It's 2021. It's been 11 years. Let it rest. I think there's literally nothing more to say when it comes to the Hulk. Reason number 2. Everyone that was crazy about the Hulk, that didn't get it, is now crazy about the new Kermit. So it's newer is better. Those that are crazy about the Hulk and have been are collectors, and I think they've already collected these watches. They already have them. You don't see too many up for sale. There are a few at really high estimates, but they're not really selling. If you take a look at a lot of the other YouTubers, the big ones that deal in watches, you don't really see Hulks come across all that often in their videos. Now the 4th reason. The GMT Master 2 is actually a lot more of an interesting watch. At least that seems to be the case with most people, as evidenced by the recent poll on our community page. Alright, so that's pretty much it regarding the Rolex Hulk. If you came here just to hear about this watch, then the video is over for you. But for those of you that are really invested in this channel, I want to talk about something else. Something really exciting to me, something I've worked on for a while. And it's the launch of the new Barkin. It's the launch of the new standard time NATO straps. So these are the best premium NATOs that I could source in 5 different color variants. So the colors are black, brown, green, the classic gray, and finally the blue-gray, the Bond NATO. So what's special about them? Firstly, they're soft and extremely comfortable. These were the most comfortable straps that I could find. That was a #1 priority for me because there's tons of NATO straps there, and most of them I find it difficult to wear on the wrist because they're kind of scratchy and they get stiff after a while, at least if you wear it quite often, and I didn't really like that. The second reason is the buckle and loops are made of solid brushed 316L stainless steel. Now if you're a watch guy, you appreciate 316L stainless steel. Fun fact, it's actually harder than 904L, which Rolex actually uses. Reason number 3, the buckle has ST engraved onto it. It's not a laser etch, it's a solid machined engraving, which is really nice. Reason number 4, the bottom loop right underneath the watch has horology engraved onto it. Now, why did I choose to have horology engraved? Well, because there's tons of NATO straps, and not everyone that wears a NATO strap is actually a watch enthusiast. And I thought this would be something really special. Only another watch enthusiast would recognize and understand this. Also, there's free shipping on all of the straps. If you appreciate this channel, the videos, and want to help support them, this is a way of doing so. If you just really like NATO straps, do check them out. The link is in the description. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Cheers.